for A Wee Natter with Jenny and Mark Steele. Ho, ho, ho! On Bow Radio.
It is indeed A Wee Natter. I'm Mark Steele, and across the table from me is...
Made it back from my afternoon tea. It's Jenny Steele.
That's the very important piece of information we all really needed to know. There, wasn't it? I'll give you that one. But we are joining on the weekend, where we are only one shopping weekend away now from Christmas. Have you brought all the bits that you need now?
I've still got a few more bits that I need to peruse the shops for.
Well, I haven't even started yet. I generally don't start Christmas shopping until about 2 o'clock on Christmas Eve, because everyone loves presents from the petrol station, don't they?
Well, yeah, those dead flowers and that manky box of chocolates, yeah.
Even better, you love it wrapped in tinfoil, because you can't get a hold of wrapping paper at a petrol station, can you?
Or sellotape.
Exactly. And on that note, it's Christmas Radio Times next week, isn't it?
I've never had one of those.
I used to have them, but we're talking back in the days when you had like 4 television channels and you'd go through them and you'd circle the shows you were going to watch.
Yes.
You can't exactly do that for iPlayer. They haven't come up with a virtual pen or whatever you want to call it to sort of circle around and go, I'm going to watch that.
Really good, that, wasn't it? A virtual circular.
Oh, that would get annoying. Although I suppose the question is, does anyone still buy the Radio Times? There's a question and a half. So you could go, 3 p.m. on iPlayer, I'll be watching and all that stuff. Bit of an honest question for you. Have you ever been up with fashion? I'm going to ask that to you, dear listener, and you, Jenny, as well. Have you ever been up with fashion?
Yeah, I like to think I am, but at the same time, I don't follow the trend. I like to find things that I think look good on me.
All right.
Which sometimes could actually be on trend at that point, but I don't really go out and buy something just for the sake of it being in fashion.
So it's more by luck than by design, is what you're saying. Personally, I've never been in fashion. In fact, you can watch this fine radio show right now live, dear listener, or on YouTube later, or whatever format you happen to get on. You can see me in my Christmas attire, which is the Santa hat and the Christmassy beer t-shirt, the only Christmas t-shirt I could find that could fit me. So I didn't get a lot of choice. But seriously, fashion is something I've never been big on following. Although, you know, if I was to describe my fashion sense normally, it is the checked shirt, hiking boots. Even if I'm going nowhere, it is the middle-aged man that has given up. I'm in the air ahead of time, but that is the style that I dress in. You couldn't describe it any other way.
Describe it any other way, no.
Obviously, a fashion trend nobody should follow. So it got me wondering, are there any trends? It doesn't have to be to do with fashion, right? Are there any trends that really wind you up? Get you get you upset and angry?
I don't know if you call this a trend, but maybe it was a trend. A couple of years ago, and I still hear people say it now, is every other word is, all right, babe.
All right, babes.
Why is this babes?
Oh, babes.
It's just, hon.
It's the Essex talk that sort of crept out of Essex and further north. I guess if you lived in the outskirts of London or in Essex, where you get this in real time, you'll be about a year or two ahead of what we hear up in this part of the world, up in New York and Sherwood land. If we're talking about trends that really wind me up, I went to Mankland. I went to Manchester recently, right? Yeah. And it's changed a lot since I was lived there in the mid-90s, right? Okay. And all I'm saying, I was disappointed by the lack of Oasis jackets.
Oh.
And when I say that, you know exactly the jacket I'm on about, don't you?
Yes, I do.
How would you describe it?
Mad for it. It's kind of like a parka, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a parka with the furry hoods.
The furry hood.
Nobody was wearing them.
No.
Absolutely nobody was wearing them. They've moved on from that.
Oh.
And are you aware of bucket hats?
Yes, is that what Liam and Noel Gallagher used
I think they might have worn them at the time.
With the parka.
I don't think they wear them nowadays.
No.
If I see one, and you do still occasionally bump into them, if I see one, I'm expecting hemp-induced wisdom to come with the hat.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying there?
No, go on.
So somebody that might be smoking hemp.
Oh, right, okay.
It's just got that association in my mind. It should never have happened, but it's just got that association in my mind. Another one is the return of the mullet.
Oh, has that come back?
I can't believe it's fine. The mullet has come back. I saw one on the loose here in Sherwood the other day, not making it up.
Oh, wow.
Saw a mullet. I was screaming at somebody to shoot it. You know, get that thing, kill it, shoot it. Before I realised it was just a haircut. On the return. So I'm going to open this up to you, dear listener. What trends will have wound you up or really wind you up? One of the things you might have noticed, dear listener, is it's getting a little bit nippier out there, isn't it?
It is.
It's getting a wee bit colder. And I'm not talking nippier like driving your 1 litre rust buckets. You know, the little car that was your first car one of those cars like that? Little 1 litre rust bucket?
MG Metro I had.
Mine was a Nissan Micra, which you can see would fit somebody of my stature. I'm quite big in both directions. And I lost it when 2 people crashed into me 2 nights in a row.
Oh.
So it went very well. But no, when I'm talking about nippy, we're talking about cold nippy, when, you know, it's getting a bit chilly out there, like it's winter or something.
Yes.
It's a bit strange like that, isn't it? How long have we got until that solstice thing?
Isn't that the 21st or is it the 22nd?
Yeah. So we've got to paddle. The way we need to do solstice, we need to paddle in Rufford Ford at the crack of dawn, waiting for the car of upcoming spring to spray us with its cleansing wave.
Yeah.
That's what we should be doing as a traditional way of bringing in the solstice in the Sherwood area. But hold on a minute. They've closed Rufford Ford, haven't they?
They have.
We can walk to Rufford Ford from here, and they've closed it. So it's kind of ruined it. Maybe we shouldn't give away to the internet that there is another Ford round the corner that's just as good. It just doesn't have an observation. But, you know, they just need to stick a bridge on it, or maybe we can use bottled water for the solstice thing. I don't know. We need to come up with something. We've got a couple of days to come up with a plan. But getting colder also means you see something on the roads that is big, it's yellow, it flashes you. Which sounds dirty, but no, you just see the flashing light everywhere, and it sprays all over the road.
Yes.
Which sounds dirty as well. We're talking about gritters, aren't we?
We are, yes.
And it turns out in Scotland they've named some of their gritters, haven't you?
They have.
And Jenny has got the complete list with pictures as well.
I have,
which works very well for an audio format. We've got pictures as well.
Yeah.
Out of the list, because they've got quite a number of them, because Scotland's quite a big place.
Yes.
It's like a third of the UK. It's ridiculous. Which ones do you like out of the list?
So, out of the list, I've got Britney Spears.
Oh, baby.
Hey, Snowing Me, Snowing You.
Aha! Hey. It's a very Alan Partridge, that.
Buzz Ice Clear.
Oh, as in the character from Toy Story.
Yes, that's it.
How can I forget Toy Story?
Spray Charles.
Spray Charles. As in Ray Charles, yeah. Okay, yep. Yeah, I get that one.
Rhinestone Ploughboy.
Rhinestone Ploughboy?
Yeah.
Oh, Rhinestone Cowboy.
Yeah, that's the one.
As in Neil Diamond.
Yeah. Lord Voldemort.
Oh, as in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
It's just taking me a moment to figure out what they mean. And the problem with that is you'll be driving down the road, you see it, and you sit and go, what does that remind me? What does that remind me of? And you go into the back of it, even with all the flashing lights. But any other ones in your list?
Yeah, I like this one. Skid Vicious. That's great.
As in Sid Vicious, yeah.
And then Fleetwood Mac. I think that's absolutely perfect.
Tell me ice, sweet little ice.
Yep. And we've had a message from Anne Martin. So she's actually also emailed us in with some suggestions for snowplows.
All right.
Freddie Mercury. Love it. Hey. Sled Zeppelin.
But that would just be too heavy to go on the roads.
Snowy McSnowface had to be in there somewhere.
Oh, there's always a something McSomething face.
It was.
Oh.
John Bon Snovey. That's absolutely brilliant, that, isn't it?
And he'll get you in a bed of roses.
Yeah. Ice Eccles.
Ice Eccles. That works more around Manchester than it does in either Sherwood or Scotland.
It does.
Because there is an Eccles in Manchester.
It is,
makes sense.
Yeah. No more Mr. Ice Guy.
Oh, as in the Alice Cooper song.
Yeah. That's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? That's just a few I've read, but there's some cracking names that have been sent in to us.
As much as that list is quite long, I think we might be missing one. Snow Business.
Oh.
Or even Ice Baby. Somebody has told me I have made a mistake. So when we're talking about gritters, and one of them being named after Rhinestone Cowboy, the very well-known pop song.
Pop song?
Well,
I thought it was country.
Isn't that country pop crossover?
Oh, wow, I don't know.
You could get very technical on these
again.
things, can't you, right? I may have said it was Glenn Campbell.
Yes.
Turns out it was Neil Diamond.
No, it's not.
It's one of those waves round. What are you saying?
I've got Rhinestone Cowboy was Glenn Campbell. So did you say it was Neil Diamond?
I said it was the wrong one.
Whatever.
And I've said it's the wrong one again. I'm sure you will figure it out, dear listener. Despite the fact it is the festive season and it gets a bit hectic in the mail world, doesn't it?
It does.
The mailbox has arrived, postbox has arrived, and last week if you joined us last week for the show, we asked you what is your word of the year. Because we're at that point where you're starting to look back across the previous year and think about the good, the bad and the ugly. So we're asking you about what your word of the year is, and a couple of people have been in touch, haven't they, Jenny?
Yeah, I've got slap-ups, and she says it's actually quite an oldie, but a good one that she's not heard in decades until earlier this year is kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle. I quite like that.
I've been in a proper kerfuffle.
Yeah.
Chris Curley's also been in touch saying, I have to think about the word of the year. So I haven't come up with an answer yet, but I've been thinking about it. And about funny Christmas presents, because we did touch on that, about Christmas presents that really aren't Christmas presents,
Are you talking about my mug? I ham what I ham.
Your ham what your ham mug. Yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. So Chris is saying, a lovely friend of mine, so we've got to stress this friend is a very good person, a very good friend, a lovely friend of mine, she really is a lovely lady, gave me a mug with a picture of a sheep on it.
Oh, see, I love a sheep.
You love a sheep. Not a cartoon, cute, funny sheep.
A proper sheep.
Proper sheep, a real portrait of sheep. One of those ewes that looks at you with contempt.
Yeah.
If you've ever been out in the wilderness, especially in Britain or any other country that's got sheep in it, if you've been out in the wilderness, you've come across them, they look at you like you're not going to survive the night. They just stare you down if you upset them. That's the sort of ewe we're talking about here, isn't it?
You see, I'd like that.
And when Chris thanked her for the mug, she said, I thought of you as soon as I saw it.
Oh, burn.
That's sending a message, isn't it? And it's also got me wondering, is there a market out there for, mugs with a picture of a bulldog that's chewing a wasp?
Yeah, I bet there is. You know.
To send that message out. Anyone else been in touch?
Yeah, Donna McGee, my word for 2023 is ugh.
Ugh.
Yes.
Oh, I know that feeling. Just, I've had enough. Ugh.
Yes.
Also in touch, Jane Barrett. It's more of a phrase that they're going for rather than the word of the year. Stop ripping the wallpaper or stop tearing the carpet.
Oh.
So before I even read a letter further, I'm guessing there's either children or pets involved here.
Yes.
It is 2 new cats they took on in January and are quite naughty.
Ah, there we go.
Ah, there you go.
There we go. I've got one from Chris Curley. The only word I can think of is blink, blink, and you miss it. Never saw a year pass so quick.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Sonia Derbyshire saying word of the year is lush or mermaid.
Oh, I like lush.
Could you be a mermaid covered in lush in the lush shop? Because when you step past lush, if you've ever done that deal, if you step past lush, the wall of smell just hits you.
Yes.
It's just so much, it's so strong. It's, oh my God. Could you imagine being like a mermaid, doing some sort of scene in lush as a character? So you're having to swim, you're having to keep tabs on that, and you've got to smell luscious. But it'd be too much.
Yes,
it'd be too much.
It would. Although I was quite pleased with that smell the other day, walking through town. There was something not quite as nice smelling, and I was so pleased when I had to walk past Lush. I thought,
the things you find in city centres. Anne Lidley's also in touch saying that the word for me is trying.
Oh.
That's my word of the year every year. I give it a shot, we'll see what happens, and it all goes horribly wrong. Any more on the list, Jenny?
That's me.
I've got 2 more words, and one of them is clearly out of way. You've come across those articles that appear in the paper, and they're clearly a sales pitch for something.
Yes.
There you go. They are written to be an advert for something, and this word comes from one of those adverts, and it's accelerousal. Which is what Vicky Fairweather's saying. It's a term to describe psychological stress on the body from accelerating while driving.
Wow.
So it's almost like for some people you get angrier the harder you accelerate to drive.
Yeah.
So if you're very
Like
chilled,
that.
yeah, exactly. Whereas if you're very chilled and you take your time, it works out a bit better. And apparently it manifests itself as stress symptoms such as exhaustion or even road rage. And scientists have found out recently it affects nearly 50% of the population and is probably genetic.
Wow.
So she found out about this and then has twigged that she probably falls into that category. It's one of those where we all assess ourselves. I'm sure on a bad day we all fall into that category. Yeah. And Sam Killip also in touch with a message.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, it's not an advertising message. Don't worry about that. Saying, I'd love to say a big Merry Christmas to everyone and sending my best wishes to people, especially anyone who may be by themselves this Christmas. And in fact, there is a whole thing, if you are in Sherwood land, York and Sherwood Land, you can send a Christmas card to a lonely person with a message in it. They are doing a thing. You can drop it in letterboxes. There's one in Edwinstowe, there's one in Newark. They're dotted all around the patch. Stick it in there and it goes to somebody that's a bit lonely this Christmas.
That's lovely.
So that's something that's generally going on. But back to Sam's message. I want to send a warmth and joy to people who are lonely and perhaps don't have family around them. Makes this time of year extra special. Everyone is in different kinds of circumstances this time of year, and I feel it's important to make people feel connected. And that's what we want you to do, dear listener. Join this show, join the community, tell other people about it, and become part of A Wee Natter. That's what we want you to be doing. So Sam's saying it's important to feel part of that community. Nobody should feel alone and isolated, and having in previous years been feeling like that, especially after leaving school, I use this as inspiration to help people feel a sense of togetherness. Merry Christmas to you all. Enjoy the festive season. On that note, I think we've got to look at that as bringing everyone into the fold, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Onto a positive thing. Although if we're being positive, and we've just been looking back at the word of the year, that's been the trigger topic. Maybe we need to do a complete awards. You know, we could have a toilet of the year, cock up of the year, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll have a think about what those possible winners of the various categories could be. And of all the things on this fine show, what I'm about to do is really it's the hardest thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm going to get you, and that could be you, dear listener, you, Jenny, as well. I'm going to get you to say a word without me saying the word. It's going to be like a bad parlour game. Oh, God, that's just reminding me. Christmas is next week, isn't it?
It is, yes.
You know, it's a week on Monday.
Oh, no, is that board games coming out again?
Yeah, you start to do the games with the extended family. You have to put up with the extended family anyway, and you can deal with it for a few days, but when they get the parlour games and the board games out, it's that extra bit you've got to put effort into it. But anyway, we're going to take a shot at this little parlour game.
I hate board games.
We're going to play this anyway. I'm going to play it with you right now. What sweet bake do you serve with cream and jam?
Cream and jam? A scone.
You said what?
Scone.
Scone? You mean a scone?
Well, scone's gone. We had this debate earlier on at our afternoon tea. Depends on whereabouts you come from.
It does. Apparently, you're in the cone, rhymes with cone team, which means you are in the same category as people from Stoke, Sheffield, and Hull.
Oh.
How do you feel about that?
Hull. Well, I don't mind a bit of Sheffield.
You should write off. So you don't mind Sheffield, but Stoke and Hull, they can get. You tell them to get in the sea. Is that what you're saying?
I never said a word.
I'm going to jump to conclusions here. I'm in a different team. I say Scone, so it rhymes with gone, right? Which means I'm in the same team as anyone from about York northwards.
Oh, wow.
It's just the rest of the country. Once you start going north, it's a scone. There's no scone about it. None of that nonsense.
Are we going to talk about the jam and the cream?
We're not going to talk about the jam and cream because that is a dull debate because there's only two possible answers to it. And quite frankly, it doesn't matter because it ends up being a belly either way.
Well, we did have this conversation on, as I said, at our afternoon tea, and apparently it's the thing with Devon and Cornwall, isn't it? Devon do it one way, Cornwall do it the other. I can't remember which way round is which, but...
I personally, it doesn't matter. Just
stick it on.
It's a bit like that Austin Powers film, Get in my belly!
Yeah.
That's all I care about when I see Scone with jam and cream. I don't care about what order it comes in, so long as it ends up in my belly. But it is amazing how little things like that, the way you say one word, can give away where you come from. Right? So I pronounce, the letters TH. So if you put them together, what noise does that make? For me, it's F as an F. It's like the number. So I say the number 3. So I don't say 3. But explicit, you notice it's tiny little difference, but TH sounds like F.
I feel like Taggart's going to walk in.
I had to give out a phone number in an old job, and it ended in free.
Yeah.
So many people couldn't keep a straight face. I'm supposed to be this serious customer service person telling them the phone number ends in free, and they're pissing themselves laughing. It was ridiculous. But the life lesson here, after looking at all this, the life lesson here is that you can get rid of flat cap, you can get rid of the whippet, and even practice sounding like the king.
Yeah.
But there are little things that will still give you away, and that's before the pies and gravy come out. Somebody likes every song. So even the person that created it must have liked it at some point. It's A Wee Natter on Bow Radio, and I'll dig myself out of this hole with a message from Sylvia Goddard, who is listening from Basingstoke, which is a very extended part of Sherwood.
It is.
And the way we've achieved that is you look very, very closely on Google Maps. So you type Sherwood into Google Maps, it draws an outline. If you look very, very close, there's a tiny little thin line that goes all the way down to Basingstoke and draws a little circle around it. You could just about see it if you zoom all the way in. And she's saying, hello, I'm still here and enjoying it. Uni is finished now, so I'm home for quite a few weeks.
Nice.
Enjoy the break and enjoy the exams when you go back as well. That's the one thing I remember about Christmas break at university.
That's it, ruin it for Sylvia.
Well, you're supposed to be studying over Christmas break, you see.
She will be.
I'm sure she will. I'm sure. And it's funny how this show, and we're talking about students, but funny how this show ends up on food all the time, isn't it?
It is, yes.
And there is a certain food faux pas that Jenny has touched or found on the internet that I'm not sure about. Do you want to tell us all about it?
Yeah, I read somewhere that more than half of Brits aged 25 or below, I think that's actually wrong because I know I'll be doing this, will put ketchup on their Christmas dinner this year. Now, is that wrong?
Ketchup on your Christmas dinner? Well, it depends what part of the Christmas dinner you're talking about and what you're doing for your Christmas dinner as well. So if you're doing the traditional turkey, duck, goose, some sort of bird on the plate, if you're doing turkey, it is the driest meat on earth. Because nobody knows how to cook a turkey. It's too complicated, too much effort. So you end up with the driest. You might as well be eating cardboard, right?
You need a bit of gravy on it, don't you?
Yeah, you need some sort of wetness on it. And it's a choice at that point. Do you go to all the effort of finding gravy granules, boiling a kettle, all that nonsense, when you've spent all the time putting the rest of the meal together? Or do you get the ketchup bottle out of the fridge?
Yes, that's another thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a point. I keep it in the fridge. Where do you keep it?
I think I keep it in the fridge now. You come to mention it, but there's another thing about ketchup as well.
What about ketchup?
We was out on Friday and we did try to put ketchup on our meal and it wouldn't come out the bottle because it wasn't one of those squeezy bottles. So there we are with a knife poked in the rim trying to get the ketchup out, but the knife, no matter which size knife we chose, it was too big for the rim, so we couldn't get the ketchup out. What's going on with that?
So why are glass bottles? I guess it's the thing that we're supposed to be recycling and reusing and all that kind of stuff, isn't it? And glass is a lot more recyclable than plastic is. So I see where they're coming from on that one.
I
but
can't get my sauce out.
There is no good technique for getting the stuff out the bottle, the glass bottle. You'll get the first little half.
Yeah.
In fact, you'll get the first half of the bottle out, no problem. Anything beyond that,
You shot it, haven't you?
it's either the knife goes up the bottle.
Yeah.
And I've seen that go wrong. And then the bottle goes flying. It smashes on the floor, and you've wasted all the ketchup at that point.
Or it all comes shooting out. And you can't see none of your mash anymore because it's just all covered in a red mound.
Maybe I don't want to start a conspiracy theory, right, dear listener, but maybe Heinz are trying to sell more ketchup here, right? So what they're doing is that they know that you're only going to get half the bottle out or you're going to get the whole thing splattering all over your plate and you're just going to be drinking ketchup, right?
Yes.
They know that that's what's going to happen. So they push you towards the glass bottles and say, it's all clean, it's all environmental, it's all brilliant. We can take them back, clean them, reuse them, all that kind of stuff. But really, it's a cunning ploy to make you buy ketchup more often.
Do you know what also puts me off ketchup? You know, if you don't actually get the ketchup out and you just get that clear kind of running juice with a tinge of red in, I can't, that just throws it off for me. I'm like, I've spoiled my dinner now. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And there is a term for it that we cannot use on this fine radio station. Because it's very much an adult term and it's very much but that's a term I've heard used to describe what's coming out of that bottle.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can fill the gap in yourself.
Yeah.
So what we need to do, because now that we think there's a conspiracy, right? We need to go on a mission to Heinz headquarters. I have no idea where that is.
Where is that?
Because it used to be you'd drive up the M6 and you could see the Heinz factory. But I don't even know if that still exists. And that isn't necessarily the headquarters either. So we need to do a bit of sleuthing, because I'm sure they've been bought and sold God knows how many times since then. So we need to do a bit of sleuthing, go out there, find Heinz headquarters.
Yeah.
We'll need to get some clipboards and some high-vis and things like that to sneak into the building. The weird thing about sneaking into the building, the more visible you are, the more invisible you are.
Yeah.
So if you go in looking like a workman, you'll get straight in, no problem. So we'll sneak into the Heinz building. We'll work our way up to where the boss's office is.
Yeah.
And we'll start rifling through their paperwork. I don't know why I'm saying rifling through their paper like there's some really old-fashioned setup or something.
Mark, I think the factory could be in Wigan.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, just off the M6.
Grapevine, yeah.
Yeah, it's up Wigan direction. I don't know if that's where their headquarters are, but we'll sneak into the headquarters, we'll sneak into the boss's office, and we will find the evidence to prove that the ketchup manufacturers are using glass bottles to make us buy more ketchup. I know it sounds like a conspiracy, but I think we will find good, solid evidence of this. We'll bring you up to date with that one, dear listener, from jail next week. It's A Wee Natter on Bow Radio, where we are exploring the ketchup conspiracy.
We are.
We need the type music, very serious, almost like a UFO documentary type music going on there. The gotcha is that I've looked up how much a train ticket costs to get to Wigan, which is where the headquarters of the manufacturer of ketchup in this fine country is. And we could get to Magaluf and back for half that price, so we're not going to bother. It's too much effort, too expensive. We are in the middle, towards the end. I don't think we can call it the middle. We are towards the end of the hunt for the ultimate Yule Log to have on your Christmas table. Because you can go on the internet, you can find many, many articles about the best turkey, the best vegetables, even the best mince pies.
Yes.
But there is missing that gap of crucial consumer information about the Yule Log that's going to go on your Christmas table. So we are going to be doing not one, but 2 rounds this week.
Yeah, we are.
And the first round is the battle of the budget supermarkets.
Yes.
And when we're talking about budget supermarkets, we're of course talking about Lidl and Aldi.
Yes.
Because Netto doesn't exist anymore. Now does Quick Save. We're still lamenting the loss of those ones.
Yeah, I'm fine, fair.
But indeed, Summerfield wasn't cheap, I remember that one. But on the budget supermarkets, Aldi versus Lidl. Jenny has, how do you put it in Blue Peter terms, got one you prepared earlier. So you have been and compared the two of them.
Yes.
Give us a description of Aldi and then give us a description of Lidl and tell us where they sit on your rankings.
Right, so I tried this at work, so again I involved my work colleagues. We did the Lidl one first.
All right.
Lidl did look quite nice actually. It was the nice it had those flaky, the flaky chocolates that they do the little gold swirls on, bit of gold dusting.
Yeah.
It did look quite nice. But when we cut it, we each had a bit of a taste, and we were very disappointed, unfortunately, with the taste of the Lidl.
Oh, so I'm guessing it's not going to rank very highly now.
No.
So you've got 9 entries so far. I'll run down through the list. I should probably have the Pick of the Pops music. You'll have to do your own version of it, dear listener, because I'm not that well prepared. So number 9 was Bailey's, 8 is Sainsbury's, 7 is Asda Extra Special, 6 is Cadbury's, 5 Waitrose, 4 is Marks and Sparks, 3 is Morrison's the best, 2 is Tesco Finest, and 1 is Sainsbury's Taste the Difference at the moment. Where does Lidl sit on that list?
I'm going to put the Lidl one probably after the Bailey's.
It's going to go right at the bottom of the list.
Yeah,
oh dear, in it position.
No good at all.
10 of 10. So, how does the other budget supermarket fare?
Aldi. Okay, so when we tasted this one had quite a generous coating of the sugar that they sprinkle on top. Is it the icing sugar?
Right,
quite a nice generous coating of this, and it cut very well. It stayed together on the knife, nice crackle of the chocolate, and when you eat it, because it's got that quite a generous coating of the dusting, it didn't get all over on your fingers, so it's quite a clean eat, if you know what I mean, and it wasn't too heavy, so it's a sort of Yule Log that you could perhaps go back and have another slice of. It didn't leave you feeling sorry about that. It didn't leave you feeling too much, I'm stuffed. So we really put it on par with Sainsbury's in the office.
Is it top Sainsbury's you're talking about here?
Yeah,
first position.
First position.
It's going to take over first position from Sainsbury's.
And the reason being, it was very, very hard to choose between them, but it was that extra dusting that made it more of a clean eat, and it was lighter that you could have gone back for a second slice. So if we're all honest, it is coming out on top.
So we haven't even done our second round. So this is our first round.
Yes.
And we've already got upset a brand new winner at the moment.
Yes.
It is Aldi with their Yule Log is the top picking to go on your Christmas table right now. But will that change? We are on the hunt for the top Yule Log of the year, and I've become a little bit more prepared, dear listener, as we count down our list so far. I can't believe I'm doing this. Number 11 is Lidl, 9 is St Bailey's, 8 Sainsbury's, 7 Asda Extra Special, 6 is Cadbury's, 5 is Waitrose, 4 is Marks and Sparks, 3 is Morrison's the best. I forgot to count the one that's changed at the top, so the numbers are slightly off. It's 4 Morrison's the best, 3 is Tesco Finest, 2 is Sainsbury's Taste the Difference, and number 1 is, of course, Aldi from the Battle of the Budget Supermarkets. But we have 2 last entries to come, and Jenny's got them in front of us. Tell us a bit about them, Jenny.
So one might be a little bit complex if you don't have one local, but we tried a Yule Log from a bakery called Coupland's.
All right, yes. It is a very well-known bakery from the South Yorkshire, getting into Lincolnshire type area. I think it stretches a bit further than that, but yes, it is a chain, and you've been having a go at them, yes. And I will show it to the camera, which doesn't make sense for radio, but we are also on the video as well. It's the one at the front.
Yes.
Which is a bit like with the snooker and that. If you're watching in black and white, it's behind the pink one. It's a bit like that. But yeah, anyway, yeah, we have got one in front of us from Coupland's.
Yes. And I must admit, it's quite a stock, it's quite a heavy Yule Log.
All right.
Now, if you can see marks on camera, then you'll see it's got quite a lot of cream on the edge. I thought that cream would go all the way through, but it doesn't. So once you've cut that first slice, that's it. So the person that gets the first slice is getting the cream, which I was a little bit disappointed with, because I thought, I was expecting that to go all the way through, so you got that taste. And I tell you what, I've had a little taste.
All right. And what are you thinking of it?
It's creamy, but it's slightly dry. So for me, it's not up there. Even though it's a lovely bakery, don't get me wrong, they do some fantastic stuff, but the Yule Log isn't winning it for me.
So where's it got to go on the list then?
I think that this one should go at number 4.
Number 4. So
Yes.
that is behind Tesco Finest, the head of Morrison's the best.
Yes.
There we go. We got one last competitor, one last option to go on your Christmas table. Tell us about it, Jenny.
Well, this is Colin the Caterpillar. Now, they've done a Colin the Caterpillar Christmas cake. Bit expensive. I think he's one of the most expensive ones we've brought. It's something like £12. And again, I tried this one.
Okay.
And he's quite firm when you give him a cut. He does cut quite well. Too well. Sometimes I struggle to get my knife through. But again, I mean, the chocolate tastes gorgeous, but the sponge just not as moist as the Aldi one, I'm afraid, Mark. Ooh. I know. So we know what that means, don't we?
We have a winner.
We do.
If you are going to pick up a Yule Log to put on your Christmas table this year, and you've got just over a week left to do that, then the option that we recommend you pick up is from Aldi. It is one of the budget supermarkets at the top of the list. I'd love to say I'm surprised, but the budget supermarkets tend to be top of the list for the mince pies as well, so it's not surprised they're doing that with the Yule Log. One of the things we didn't tell you about one of those Yule Logs we just tried,
yes,
I think it was specifically the Coupland's one,
it was.
Is it came with a very old-fashioned piece of decoration.
Yes.
And the way I would describe it to you, dear listener, would be, you know how in the old days we used to write Happy Christmas in Gothic fonts?
Yeah.
In gold or silver or something like that. And that'd be on almost every Christmas card, or it takes you back in time about 40 years.
Yeah.
It's got that in a plastic thing that sticks onto the Yule Log.
And a little bit of holly as well that sticks on.
The only thing it's missing is the tinfoil decorations.
Yeah.
You know the ones I'm on about? They stretch out and they only last about a year because they're the flimsiest things in the world.
Yeah.
But that's how you get a big decoration across your room. It'll be stretched out piece of tinfoil with lots of holes in it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you know.
I like them.
You can buy them in the pound shops.
You can,
They're still a thing. we have started a brand new quiz.
Da-da.
Well, it started last week. We're on week 2, and it's not an admission that we've run out of ideas, dear listener. You've already come to that conclusion. We accept that conclusion. That's not what this is admission is of. It is week 2 of a 100-question quiz.
Yeah.
I will explain. This is a quiz that I wrote over 10 years ago now. So some of the questions might be a little bit dated, might be a bit wrong, but we'll find out. And the original plan was we'd ask the questions on the radio, and somebody would call up and they would answer, as many questions as they could. The moment you got one wrong, that's it. That's the end of your run. And then somebody else takes over from that question. And the idea is the person that gets question 100 correct gets the prize at the end of it. Now, we are organising a prize. That is going to happen, but I forgot to bring them with me.
I was going to say, did you bring them?
I was planning to, but somebody hid them. I have no idea where they are.
Sorry, yeah, that's me.
Yes.
Oh,
so they arrived in the post, but I went to look for them, couldn't find them anywhere. They have been secreted somewhere within my abode. So until we see them, I cannot give you a prize because I don't know that they exist.
I'll have them ready for next Sunday so you can show everybody.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
so
put them on the page.
We'll find a way of dealing with it. We will find a way of dealing with it. It will be sorted for the Christmas Eve special that will be happening in a week's time, dear listener. But this week's question, how many legal marriages, so this isn't wives, so you get number 6 out your head, how many legal marriages did Henry VIII have? And talking about marriages, why is there still that trope going around about, I'm tied to the ball and chain, that old cliche? Why would you still be married to somebody you can't stand anymore?
I don't know.
I sort of see the want to keep together for kids thing. Why is it a trope? Why is it? It's like mother-in-law thing.
Yeah.
Why is that a thing? But anyway, no. Back on the question. How many legal marriages, so not wives, legal marriages did Henry VIII have? It's A Wee Natter on Bow Radio, where we're asking you the question: how many legal marriages, so not wives, so get the number 6 out of your head, how many legal marriages did Henry VIII had? A couple of you have been in touch with guesses. What are they looking like?
Cheryl Warner and Ellie Merritt have both guessed 3.
Both guessed 3.
And Stephen Hall has guessed 4.
All very close, but not the right answer. How many legal marriages, not wives, so get the 6 number out of your head, did Henry VIII had? The correct answer, it's a grand total of 2. Apparently 4 of the marriages were annulled.
Oh, right.
Which is it's such a technicality, that one, isn't it? But could you imagine, getting married once is a lot of effort, isn't it? Getting married 6 times.
Oh, I couldn't do with it.
Just 6 photographers, 6 wedding cakes, 6 rubbish DJs that you don't like the music selection of. It's just too much. I couldn't deal with it. On the topic of the big C, which is not cancer, and it's not the other C word either, dear listener. We're talking about Christmas. It is just around the corner, Christmas, isn't it? Which means the suffering of parents and guardians is going up.
Yes.
Do you know the reason for this?
Is it I want, or they want the latest? See, I get them all confused. Xbox and PlayStation. I don't know what the latest one is, but they want it, and you can't get them because so does everybody else, and they're sold out.
Are you one of those people that everything's a Nintendo to?
Yes.
It's quite the admission to make out in public, that one. Everything is a Nintendo. But no, talking of N's, the thing that I'm talking about is an N, and it's nothing to do with presents. It is the Nativity play. Because every parent has to suffer through it. It's never an enjoyable experience, even though it's supposedly the greatest story ever told, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what I say. It's the greatest story ever told, but it's told through the spirit and power of 5-year-old children, and it just doesn't get the story across very well, does it? I mean, it's nice seeing your own kids having a shot at it. I understand that, but what you could do is using it up a bit, isn't it?
Are you going to zhuzh it up?
Well, we'll get there in a moment. But do you remember your nativity play when you were at school?
Do you know what? I don't even remember doing one. That's sad, isn't it? Maybe I was never chosen.
Wow. I was chosen to play the Angel Gabriel.
Really?
Yes. I was a big lad even then. He tells me it's the Angel Gabriel. It did absolutely nothing for making me look cool at school. I'll give you that one.
You just wanted to wear the tea towel on your head, didn't you?
Oh no!
The shepherd.
There was no tea towel for this one. I was.
You wanted to be the shepherd, didn't you?
I was like a ghost. I was just draped head to toe in white. You know, that's what I was in. Because I was supposed to look like an angel. You see?
Yeah.
That's what we do. So we've got about a week until our Christmas special. We are doing this fine radio show for you on Christmas Eve, dear listener. After the shops are closed and you're screwed, you've got to have bought all your presents, or you've got no options at that point.
Sitting there with your Baileys.
So how about when we're doing this special in a week's time, we put on A Wee Natter Nativity.
Oh.
Yeah. So we've got we're here in Edwinstowe House, right?
Yes.
Okay. We could have it in the Edwinstowe House car park.
Yeah.
Because it's short notice, because we're only coming up with this right now, we might need to have a caravan rather than an inn.
Yeah.
So there's no room in the caravan. Which, to be fair, is how every caravan I've ever stayed in is like. There's no room. You don't fit sideways. You don't fit long ways in it. And you don't fit tall ways either, if you're like me. A donkey is going to be quite tricky to get at short notice.
What we're going to have instead of a donkey?
Well, you know how we're almost in the north here.
Yeah.
So we're about half an hour away from Sheffield, about half an hour away from Doncaster, and Yorkshire and all that. We're still connected to the Midlands, but we're close to the north. So I'm thinking, how about we pass off a whippet as a donkey?
Yeah, could do.
Do you think we can manage that?
Yeah.
Do you think it will work?
Yeah.
We might have to double up on a few roles because it's such short notice. We're going to struggle to get the people together, aren't we?
Am I going to be Mary and Joseph?
No, you're going to be both Jesus and Mary. Do you think you can manage that one?
Yeah, I'll stand up a go.
We're going to need 3 wise men.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that you?
Well, no. So, if you're not aware of this fine area of Sherwood where Edwinstowe House is, dear listener, it's on a one-way system round Edwinstowe. So, if we block the one-way system, within about 10 minutes, we'll have 3 bus drivers available. Yeah. So they could be our wise men, just block the road, borrow the bus drivers. They could bring their ticket machines as an alternative to gold, frankincense and myrrh.
Yeah.
I know what gold is.
Yeah, I don't know what myrrh is. What is myrrh?
I've no idea. I've not figured out what frankincense or myrrh is. I'm sure it'll still appeal to the little baby Jesus. I'm sure it will be fine.
Yeah.
So I think we're going through all that. So we've got an inn, we've got the people, we've got a donkey, we've got our 3 wise men, and we've got our gifts as well. I think we've got it all sorted. Next week, dear listener, we will be doing A Wee Natter Nativity live from the Edwinstowe House car park. You can come along if you want. You can see it playing out live. You might even enjoy it. There's something Jenny has to get off her chest about Christmas Eve. What is it?
Yeah, I want to know that as an adult, do you have a Christmas Eve box? Now, I never knew this was a thing until I saw people talking about it on Facebook. And then you go into these card shops and they've actually got a box that's got Christmas Eve box on it, and you just fill it with things that you think would be quite nice to have on Christmas Eve, like festive pyjamas, bath bombs, bubble baths, smellies, that sort of thing. Maybe a little bottle of wine or something, I don't know. But I'm thinking, do you have a Christmas Eve box? Who has a Christmas Eve box?
Now,
I'd love one.
The cynical part of me looks at this as this is a way of flogging more tats. Somebody has looked at this and gone, you know what, we're not making enough money out of this Christmas stuff, we need to flog more Christmas stuff. And they've looked at that and they've gone, the best way to do it is to have a thing where they give presents on Christmas Eve. But I also understand that it is a tradition in places like Germany, if I remember correctly, to open the presents on Christmas Eve, not on Christmas Day.
That'd be weird, wouldn't it, for us?
Although if you're talking about Christmas traditions, you could go all Orthodox Christian and celebrate Christmas in the New Year. That gets really confusing.
Yeah.
So you talk to people from that part of the world that go on Christmas break. They're talking about January. You're talking about December. Right? You'll miss each other. So I can't say I'm totally sold on the Christmas Eve box thing, but I get the impression, based on what you're saying now, you really, really want one.
I fancy one, but I like it to be like a few little chocolates in there, maybe a nice bath bomb, and I love the thought of festive pyjamas.
So you've got festive pyjamas, you've got bath bomb things, but the one thing that you need to be doing on Christmas Eve...
And a Prosecco.
Okay, so you're basically asking for all your presents that you would have had on Christmas Day to be done on Christmas Eve, and I assume you don't want to give them the presents on Christmas Day.
No, I don't want to get rid of my Christmas Day presents.
So you want double the presents because
Yeah.
you got to. Yeah, whereas if you're trying to be practical with it, there is one thing that you need to do on Christmas Eve that you can't do on Christmas Day because if you do it then it's too late. And that is start preparing the Christmas dinner.
Well, that's right. That's what my mum used to do. Get the turkey cooking at 5 p.m. Christmas Eve, ready for midday the next day.
So in that Christmas Eve box will be a turkey baster.
Yep.
It'll be tinfoil.
Yeah.
It will be Brussels sprouts. It will be a pot. And we're not just talking about any pot. We're talking like a proper pressure cooking pot.
Oh, wow.
That only gets whipped out at Christmas and special events.
Yes. Would you have... you couldn't fit an emergency chair in your box, could you?
This is turning into a shed at this point.
It is.
And you're just going to take the garden shed.
Yeah, Christmas Eve shed.
Wrap it in Christmas wrapping paper and say Happy Christmas to you. Here's your Christmas Eve present.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on board with that. I think we can make that happen. The only problem is if we're going to do the shed for that is I don't think there's enough wrapping paper for everyone to go out and do that.
That's true.
Yeah, so we might need to find something else to wrap in. We'll figure that out. I don't want to alarm you, dear listener, but I have been on the internet. And no, I'm not looking at that sort of thing. Get your mind out of the gutter. I have been looking at Christmas Eve boxes and the things that apparently people have been putting in them. Some of the popular ones: family board game to play in the evening.
Oh, wow, yeah.
A set of pyjamas they could wear on the night and into Christmas morning.
You see what I'm talking about?
Hot chocolate in a festive mug.
Yes.
And bubble bath before bedtime.
Love it.
A Christmas film or festive book to read.
Oh, excellent.
Some Christmassy sweets or chocolates like coins and candy canes.
Yes.
Treats to feed the family dressed up as reindeer food.
Oh, wow.
That's an even older tradition, the idea that you put out the mince pie or the carrot and Santa has a nibble of them.
Yes.
No wonder he's so chubby if he's nibbling at every house.
Does he drink the milk or is it whiskey? What does Santa have? Does Santa have milk? Can you get done for being drunk in charge of a sleigh?
Imagine if Santa was lactose intolerant.
Oh.
It'd get a bit more horsepower out the sleigh, that's for sure. And a personal letter from Father Christmas reassuring the child they're on the good list. But if I was to do that, and I'm sorting out a Christmas Eve box for a child, and you could put this...
Not me.
You could put this letter in saying, Father Christmas, he knows you're on the good list, you are going to get presents. I wouldn't put that as a letter. I'd put a letter saying, Santa Claus, been having a look at what you've been up to this last year. There's some good stuff, there's some bad stuff, but if you want the good stuff, the presents to turn up, and not a lump of coal, even though that'll keep your family going, it's actually quite a good gift nowadays. But if you don't want that lump of coal, you better get your ideas sorted out overnight. You better sleep well.
Mark?
It's a bit threatening, but I think that's the path I would go down.
There's some brilliant ideas you've come out with there. Can you just keep some of those in mind?
Any particular reason?
For me.
On that note, it's about it for A Wee Natter. I was Mark Steele. Across the table from me was
Jenny Steele.
And whatever platform you happen to be enjoying this fine show on, whether it's Bow Radio, where you just tune in every Sunday and you get it live, and you can do the same on Mixcloud as well now. We've been experimenting with that one. Or you're listening to it on demand. So you're getting it as a podcast or you're getting it as a video. Hit the subscribe button. And then as if by magic, when the show's released, it is disseminated directly to your lug holes and potentially your eye holes as well. And one thing I'm going to ask you, dear listener, is when you're going out about, you're doing your normal day, and you're trying through the big day with your Santa stunt man.
Yeah.
What's going to happen on Christmas Eve, how it's all going to go down. You're going through the details with your stunt man. Mention A Wee Natter on Bow Radio, or on the podcast, or on YouTube, or every other platform under the sun. That's all we ask of you. We don't ask a lot, do we?
No, we don't.